Hello, welcome back to In the English Corner. This video is going to deal with words that are commonly confused in the English language. The words that I am presenting you with in this video are important to learn how to spell and also to learn the meaning of them because they will increase your vocabulary. There are a lot of words in the English language that are easily confused or misused, and so I've divided the video into two parts. So let's get started with the first part of this video. The first words that I want to look at are the words a and an. A and an. A is used before words that begin with a consonant sound, such as he bought a book from the store. An is used before words with a vowel or a silent H. So in this case, he bought an orange because orange begins with a vowel. Your vowels are A, E, I, O, U. So it would be an orange, an apple. And in this last example, in an hour from now, because of the silent H, because you don't pronounce the word hour, it's hour. So it has to be an hour from now, the movie will begin. You must turn it into an. And in one sentence, he is a good student because good starts with a consonant, but he is an amazing because you've got the vowel starting the word amazing. So let's look at some more examples, and if you follow along, you'll see I've given you the words. I will include a quick definition, then I use each word in a separate sentence, and then I've tried to coordinate the two words in one sentence. I've tried to follow this pattern to reinforce the meaning of each of the words. The first grouping is accept and accept. Accept, A-C-C-E-P-T, means to receive or to agree to take, and it's a verb. Accept, E-X, means to exclude or to leave out. It also means but, and it's usually a preposition. Let's look at examples. The workers accepted management suggestions to improve the building. That means they agreed with them, they accepted them. Except here, all except me were called on. That means everybody except myself. I've been left out, or but me were called upon. Using the two in the same sentence, all the students will accept their rewards, except for Julie, who may arrive late to the assembly. So they're all agreeing, they're all going to go up and receive them, except for, so Julie's the only one, the only exception, the only one that will not be there to get her reward, her award. Advice and advise are often mixed up, and it's simply just C, E, and S-E. Advice with the C is an opinion which is meant to be helpful, and it's always a noun. Advise, which is pronounced the Z sound, is to give an opinion, which is meant to be helpful, but it's the verb. Let's take a look. I will give you the best advice on the problem. It's a noun. You're not using it as a verb, and it means I'm going to give you my best opinion. In this example, I can't advise you as what to do if you're not willing to listen. It's the verb, can advise, and it means I can't really give you an opinion. So it's the act of giving you the opinion. So it's a verb here. And this one's a noun. In one sentence, I did not take his advice, the noun, since I realized he was advising me on a topic he knew nothing about. Here it's the verb form of advise, and it means he was giving an opinion. So the word would be advise. These are very commonly mixed up, these two words, affect and effect. Affect means to influence, and it will always be a verb. And effect, with the E, is usually a noun, and it means a result, like the effects of your experiment, or to bring about. And I've given you three examples. Did the strong winds affect the corn crop in Ontario? It's the verb. Did affect would be the verb. And what it means is, did it influence the crop? Did we have a bad crop because of that? The heavy rainstorm had little effect on the outcome of the game. Here's the noun. It's a noun, and it means the result. It didn't have much of a result on the outcome of the game. And the last example, the employees tried to effect a change in the law. That's the verb. They were trying to effect, trying to bring about a change in the law. In one sentence, the deadly tornado The verb affected the 3 towns, it influenced them, and its effect, which means its result, which would be the noun, will be felt for many years. The next one is are and our, another common mistake. Are is a helping verb, and it comes from the verb to be. You are, I am, she is, he is, so are. And our, O-U-R, means ownership, belonging to us. Examples, the boys are going, so there's your verb going, and the helper is are going to join us at the restaurant. Or we put our new shirts in the cupboard, meaning belonging to us. In one sentence, we are, there's the verb, all at the meeting on time, but our managers means the managers belonging to our company are late. So 2 very different meanings. Choose and chose. The only difference is in the O's. Choose has 2 O's, chose has 1. To choose means to select or make a choice, and it's the present tense of the verb to choose. And chose would be the past tense of the verb to choose. Let's look at examples. I will choose the pancakes and eggs special for breakfast, meaning I'm going to make that choice today. Or I chose, which is the past, to go swimming rather than to go bowling. Past tense. Using them both in one sentence, I will choose pancakes and eggs for breakfast today. So choose is for today. Since I chose, which is the past, to eat cereal and toast, there's the past, yesterday morning. Here's another one that's good to know. Complement and complement, the only difference is one is LE and one is LI. Complement with the LE is something that completes or makes perfect. It completes you or makes you perfect. Complement with the I is praise, giving praise to somebody. Example, this salad is a nice complement to the dinner. It's used as a noun, and what that means is it makes it complete. It's nice. It just finishes up the dinner nicely. He always gives me a compliment with the I when I get dressed up for work. It's a noun, and it means he's saying you look nice. He's giving you a compliment. And you could also use compliment as a verb by saying he complimented me on my organizational skills at the meeting. In other words, he told you that you were well organized, you did a good job. It's the verb. In one sentence, since Jim thought the dessert I baked was a wonderful compliment to the meal, like it made it perfect, he graciously complimented me on my skillful cooking techniques. In other words, the verb, he complimented you, he praised you on your techniques. Now, these 3 words are often confused, and they're hard to spell. Conscience is the first one. It's your sense of right and wrong. And I remind students that, or individuals who are having a hard time writing, that it's the words con and then science. Con and science. So your sense of right and wrong. Let's look at it in a sentence. He had a guilty conscience after he stole the hat from the store. So he knew what he did was wrong. He had a guilty sense. The second one is conscious. It means you're aware or alert. You're able to think and feel. Sarah made a conscious decision not to attend the party, so she thought carefully about it before she made up her mind. And the last one is conscientious. It means careful or thorough. The manager was conscientious about completing all her duties before closing the bar. Or I might say to a student, you are working really well in class today. You're a very conscientious student. So conscientious means you're working carefully, thoroughly, you're doing a good job. In the same sentence, his conscience, meaning his knowledge of right and wrong, was bothering him, so he made a conscious decision to never cheat on a test again. So he knew, he was aware of his decision. The next one, is these words. I'm having a hard time here. Sorry. It's a bit jumpy. Council, 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 and consul. Okay, let's look at these. Council, CIL, is a group that governs. Example, the student council meets every Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So it's a student council. It's a governing body that meets. Counsel with EL means to give advice, and it's a verb. In this example, the therapist tried to counsel the troubled couple. She gave them advice. This one also, ending in EL, can mean advice or a lawyer, and it's a noun. So in movies, you sometimes hear of somebody who's been arrested and he says, I'm not going to speak further, I want counsel, which means he wants his lawyer to come and represent him, or he's not going to speak to the authorities. So the prisoner requested counsel before he spoke any further, and that's a noun. The last one, consul, is a government official in the Foreign Service. The Minister of Foreign Affairs appointed him consul to China. So he became a government official in China. Using two of them in a sentence, because I couldn't use all four, it'd be difficult. The Canadian consul in Mexico, so it was some government official, gave the tourists excellent counsel, meaning advice, about safe tourist attractions in the area. And now, if you want to just clearly look at the nouns, a counselor and a counselor, let's look at the difference in these nouns. The CILLOR is a member of a council. The counselor submitted an overview of the items for discussion. So it's a person who's part of a council. The other one, counselor, is a person who gives advice. I made an appointment to see my school counselor about my problems at school. So if you go and see a guidance counselor at school to give you advice, it's this one, SELLOR, meaning a person who gives advice. Moving along, we've got desert and desert. Let's take a look. DESERT can have two meanings. It can mean to leave or to abandon, such as, why did the mother desert her newborn baby? That one's pronounced desert. It can also be desert, a very dry region with little or no plant growth. The Sahara Desert is very large, hot, and dry. Then we also have dessert, DESSERT, and that is a sweet course often eaten at the end of a meal. Lemon meringue pie is his favorite dessert. Using two of them in a sentence, the children were willing to desert the shopping mall, means to leave it, to go away from it, abandon it, after being promised a special treat, which was ice cream dessert. Next, we've got diner and dinner. Diner can have two meanings. A diner is a person eating dinner. It's also a restaurant with a long counter and booths, kind of like a 50s style diner. An example, the diner was waiting at the table to be served. That's the person waiting to eat. Or he went to his favorite diner for lunch. So he went to his favorite restaurant with the long counters. Or dinner with the double N, dinner has the two N's, is a main meal of the day. My mother is serving fish and chips for dinner tonight. In one sentence, for dinner tonight, I'm going to go to my favorite diner for their daily special. And the next one is also quite common that I found in writing, is does and dose. Does, D-O-E-S, is a verb. It's always a verb, and it rhymes with fuzz. He does not come to work late very often. So it's the verb to do. Does. I do, you do, he does, she does. So the verb is does come. It can also be pronounced dose, this word. A quantity of medicine rhymes with gross. His mother gave him a dose of cough syrup for his bad cough. So to use them together in a sentence, Betsy does not like it. There's your verb, does like. Betsy does not like it when her mother has to wake her up in the middle of the night to give her a dose of her cough medicine. And the last ones that I want to look at in the first part of this video are the words emigrate and immigrate. These words are important to know. Emigrate, E-M-I-G-R-A-T-E, means to leave a country. And it goes with the preposition from. You emigrate from. Immigrate, I-M-M, is to come into a country. You're immigrating to. So one is from and the other is coming to the country. Let's look at an example. Thousands of people emigrated from Asia after the tsunami hit. Whereas immigrate, you'd say he is going to immigrate. You're coming to a country when you immigrate. He is going to immigrate to Canada next year. So remember the from, the to. In one sentence, he emigrated from China and he decided to immigrate to Canada with his family. So these are the verbs. Now these are the nouns, the people who do the emigrating or immigrating. An emigrant, notice the A-N-T at the end, is a person who leaves, they leave one country to settle in another. Each emigrant was hoping to have a better life in the new country. So the emigrant was leaving their country and moving to a new country. Whereas immigrant is a person who comes into the country to settle there, which we said was here, the same as to immigrate. Canada is a very rich and diverse country because of all its immigrants who come from around the world. So they're coming into the country from other parts of the world. And I've used the to in a sentence for you. Each emigrant hoped for a better life, so they're coming from somewhere else, and they knew that as an immigrant to Canada, life would be more promising. So you might have to review this video a couple of times to learn these words, but you will find that they will help you with your spelling, and they will also increase your vocabulary. So let me know if you have any questions, if you'd like a few more examples. I'm glad to follow up with more practice questions for you. And please listen to part 2 of Commonly Confused Words, where I will introduce you to more words that are confused and examples.